Welcome back, fellow soldiers, to this patch number 11 of Hell Let Loose that is now following the update number 6 and fixing some mistakes, errors and bugs of that update. And the patch number 11 also includes some goodies for us, the player base. It's not only lame bug fixing, so stay put and we're gonna dive right into it. Sorry for interrupting, guys. This is Antidote from the future. I was just cutting the video footage and audio footage, and a little message popped up in the corner on my screen that came from Hell Let Loose, and they announced that Hell Let Loose is now on sale for 20% off the initial price. I don't know for how long, but I'm pretty glad that I just saw it so I can implement it in this patch update. So if you haven't bought Hell Let Loose yet and you've always waited for a good time to buy it and to get into the good community, make sure to check out that deal. Of course, I'm not affiliated with Hell Let Loose, so I'm not earning any money, but I think it's definitely worth noting and also testing out, and of course it's worth profiting from that offer. So now I, Antidote from the future, am saying goodbye again and giving over to Antidote from the past that is now going to talk a little bit more about the patch number 11, the reason why you guys came for here. Enjoy. First up, let's have a look at what we, the player base, are getting this time as a little gift by the developers, and that is a new seasonal free DLC that you guys can download on your Steam client for free, but you have to download it if you want to have access to the new M1943 Combat Unit Uniform Pack. And as I said, the same with the last Winter Warfare pack, you have to download it yourself for free on Steam. It's called the Summer Warfare pack, and it just requires you to click once or twice and you're gonna profit from that combat uniform pack. And the devs also included some little background information, some historical information about that uniform that we are getting access to, and they also say that even though you're getting that uniform, you still have to get and unlock that required level to equip that combat uniform in battle. But let's have a closer look at the small detail that we're given of the historical background information. The M43 combat uniform entered use in the European theater in late 1944, so basically close to the end of World War II. After D-Day, paratroopers were issued complete M1943 uniforms, and infantry units began receiving the uniform parts issued individually. So the paratroopers were the first one to get that uniform as a full uniform and not only in parts. And if you want to wear that uniform in battle, as I said before and as the developers mentioned before, you'll have to unlock that level with your player's character to get access to it. But if you like that game and you are determined to get that uniform, I don't think that will be a big problem. And also to this free DLC, a quick note by the developers: this seasonal DLC, the Summer Warfare Pack, is, as I said, designed as a thank you to the dedicated community and also to reward the veteran players that really make up the base of this game. And we can rest assured that the developers will reactivate these DLC packs throughout the year. So now is not the only time to get it, but I would still recommend it. But it's not the only time to get it. The devs are bringing them back later this year. For example, the Winter Warfare pack will again be available at the end of this year. Now, not only the American soldiers are getting new cosmetics with patch number 11, the developers also have something in their pockets for the German side. Namely, the very first hats and caps that this game will get and that players will be able to customize their character with. So the developers are adding 3 new customization options in the form of hats and caps that you can see now, and I think they did quite a cool job with that. No download is required by you, so you don't have to download the DLC. You just find them in your barracks upon downloading the patch number 11. And after you did that, it will be available to choose from. Now let's have a closer look at what we're getting. First up that you've seen was the one with the goggles. There was quite some discussion about if the devs should include goggles or not, because a lot or a big part of the player base didn't want to have silly implementations into the game, so that you'll see a soldier with a very big golden goggles walking around on the battlefield and so on. I think the devs found a nice way to implement such a feature and not make it look ridiculous. In my opinion, tell me in the comments down below what you think of these goggles that the soldier is wearing. Next up is a soldier that looks to me like a Franz or Karl, I'm not sure, tell me what his name is. Anyways, he's the proud owner of one of the new hats, also the second hat that we are now seeing with the Reichsadler on his front. That's looking pretty neat, and I just love the small detail that they added to this. Thumbs up for that. Next and final customization option or new hat that the devs are adding for the German side, the Nummer 3 of the German customization pack, that is, in my opinion, called the Hugo Stieglitz one. Just an amazing character, look at it, with the glasses and the small cigarettes and that fancy hat. Just an amazing addition if you ask me, and it all comes together so naturally and looks so good. In no way ridiculous, as the devs want to stay historically accurate, so I really enjoy that addition to the game. For sure, let me know down below what you think of the new additions that the devs added. Now, coming to the part that a patch really is for originally, and that is the patches that we're gonna see with the new update or with the patch that we've had. The devs also added the change list after they gave away that free DLC to us. I've went through the whole change list and picked out some of the most interesting changes that I think would also be interesting for you guys. Of course, if you want to read it yourself, you can always do that. I always link to the developers briefing and the patches in the description of the videos down below. But the very first change that the devs added and that I want to mention to you, and that actually, in my opinion, makes up the most important point of that patch, is that the devs were able to fix the ballistics crash that the servers experienced after we've gotten the update number 6. A lot of players experienced some random crashes on a lot of servers. That's why the developers gave us the punching bag servers, so they could really focus on the problem itself and see how the server work under a big workload, and they figured it out and were able to fix that crash. And they were able actually to get 96% of all current client crashes and 100% of all server crashes to be fixed. And that's a very good message, especially when it comes just to how the gameplay feels and how satisfying it is to play the game. I think you all can relate to this. If you are new to a game, you finally installed it, downloaded it after 2 days of downloading because your internet connection is still from the 80s. And then you finally start up that game that you've always wanted to play, that you've spent money for, that looks so good. You get into your first game and then the server crashes. Instant turn off for me, and that would make me rage a lot, and I'm pretty happy for the player base and also for the devs that they figured out how to fix those crashes. Next up also adds to the satisfying aspect of the game, I think. They fixed the lightning issues across most maps where shadows at a distance were not rendered correctly, especially on Utah Beach map. I think that's a small detail, but an important one, because lightning makes up so much of the atmosphere in that game especially, and that's nice that they also focused on that small detail, and I think that's going to be a very nice fix and addition to the game. Next up is a bug fix that I think you guys will also enjoy, that most of us probably haven't experienced, but that has been written about on Reddit a lot of times, and that is that it was able to spawn inside locked buildings if you placed your OP next to it or your garrison next to it. So the players spawned inside that locked building, weren't able to get out, but still were able to shoot out of that blocked building. That now changed with the bug fixes of patch number 11. The devs were able to fix that and are noting that all closed buildings are now blocked to stop players from spawning inside them, and I think that's a very good thing, especially when it comes to prevent cheating and so on. You get what I want to say. And we're already getting close to the end of patch number 11. The devs are here again giving us a list of things that are still to come for us, so that we know exactly what they are working on, and that is just a list in no specific order that they are working on, concerning new weapons, new armored vehicles, new customization options, of course continued bug fixes. They'll do another animation overhaul, multiple changes to the garrison OP spawn meta, an enormous scale non-hedges bridge map, and so on and so on. So there's still a lot to come for us. And to finish this developers briefing or patch briefing, developers patch, whatever, off, a little note also by the developers that I think is worth noting, namely that the community server discount is back. So G-Portal will be offering a 10% discount to existing and new server owners over the next month. They will grant you 10% off Hell Let Loose server rental for the duration of the period that you guys book for. I'm in no way affiliated with G-Portal or Hell Let Loose. I don't earn any money from this. I just think that it's worth mentioning because it's a cool thing for the guys that keep running the good servers. Yeah, so just so you know, you can get 10% off if you're running a server. And yeah, that's been it for this week's developers patch briefing update thingy. If you've enjoyed the content I provided, please make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I now also have a Patreon page if you are interested in that and want to support me outside of YouTube. And as always, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see each other on the battlefield.